It's written in the Observer. Austin is under a long-term contract to the WWF at the highest dollar figure guaranteed of any performer in company history. Like with Shawn Michaels, if his career ends with an injury, the company is obligated to pay him. So it is in their best interest to get some star power value from him while he's under such a big money deal. Of course, all of this is being discussed because he's really facing some neck challenges, some issues.
Yeah.
And it's not like this is a new thing. I mentioned that we all saw the injury happen in August of 97, and now here we are more than 2 years later. What was the straw that broke the camel's back, to the best of your recollection, that made him say, "You know what? I got to stop talking about it. I got to go try to work on this. I got to try to get better."
I don't know there's one specific turning point, but when he saw the houses still doing pretty well and he saw talents that he could work with, like a Triple H, for example, improving their game and becoming stars, he wanted to be a part of that. He thought that he helped build that feeling, and he did. So we had just, I think he was trying to be counted out so many times that he just refused. He was going to work through it somehow, some way, and that was what made him so great over the long haul. It's what made him the greatest babyface main eventer in my 50 years that I ever worked with.
It's interesting because we know that just like with traditional sports, when injuries happen, it's terrible for the people who are affected negatively, but it does create an opportunity. And so in Austin's absence, we're going to see The Rock step up and he's going to have a bigger and brighter star as a result. And you got to wonder, like, injuries, for lack of a better word, create opportunities. In
Yeah.
an alternate universe, if Austin is not hurt here, do you think The Rock still has the same ascent? Does it look any different? I mean, I know cream always rises to the crop and to the top and all that jazz, but
Yeah.
him having pretty much a year to be the center of the WWE focus, as opposed to being positioned as, well, second fiddle, as we say here in the South. What do you think of that? Does that change anything in history?
It might have changed it a little bit. It might have slowed things down somewhat. But we were very fortunate when Steve was down and he was really unable to wrestle, to have Rock at our disposal. Rock was very blessed that Steve had his injury. Quite frankly, good timing, because it gave Rock the spotlight, and he carried it. We were very fortunate at that time. Not too many companies have two guys like that ready to go. It was a talent relations dream that when Austin went down, we had somebody ready to step in and do as well, if not better, in some people's eyes, than Steve. So, but it was good. We were fortunate. It's always good to have another star on hand. You can't get too many stars, Conrad. You know that.
We should talk a little bit about Mick Foley. Mick at this time is admitting in interviews that he's not recovering all that well from the bumps anymore. And when he's asked about facing The Rock, he says, "I don't see me facing The Rock again. I don't think I can give that kind of effort in any match again. My body has kind of run out of miracles." I mean, this is a tough deal. And we've, of course, heard the stories that when he's sort of hinting around at retirement, Vince is having none of it. That is, until he reveals to Vince that he's having memory issues. And then Vince says, "Okay, that's it." But I mean, all of a sudden you find yourself here with Foley's future in question, Austin's future in question, and you're trying to get this next crop of guys ready. And we know what's going to happen with The Rock. He's about to become an even bigger star. But there's another fellow that they have high hopes for, Chris Jericho. He's just come into the company with this Y2J stuff. And as you know, it didn't get off to the best start. And believe it or not, he actually responds to some people who had some not so nice things to say over at the Torch. He wrote, "No matter what the sheet writers, the internet prognosticators, and other various critics think, the only person who can convince me that I've had a good match or a bad match is me. And believe me, I know when I've had a stinker, I've had plenty before." And he finishes this up by saying, "Last week, due to accidentally sitting on the comb of Prince Albert, I got into a pull apart with Vince McMahon and Stan Stasiak. I then inadvertently broke the nose of Test before falling into a car that drove right into Steve Austin. Steve McMahon was going to fire me for that, but I'd already been fired by Jim Ross for poor performances in my matches and not getting any reaction from crowds at house shows. So I will lose every match until December 31st, 1999. And after that time, I'll return to WCW to become a tag team champion with the returning Kendo William as the new Conquistadors. So, of course, he's having a little fun.
Yeah.
The rumors of his demise. Jericho is trying to get established. Austin's got a neck problem. Foley's looking at retirement. It's a crazy time here at the end of 99 in the WWF, is it not?
Crazy is one way of putting it. Challenging is another. That was my job, to keep that roster together and keep the horses fed and watered and running. And we did our best on that deal. Anytime somebody goes down, it creates an opportunity for someone else. I know that's cliched, but it's true. And nobody probably made a bigger impact on their career than Triple H did during that interval.
We should talk about some of the creative. We know that, Stephanie and Test are supposed to be getting married. Triple H is going to give Test and Stephanie a catcher's mask. There's lots of fun silliness here on WWE programming. What did you think about the whole Test and Stephanie relationship on camera? We know it's going to evolve into what becomes the real life marriage of Triple H and Stephanie. But even this clip we're watching here, you see Test playing Nintendo 64 while she's opening all of their wedding presents, and he could not care less. So I guess maybe we're planting some seeds on why she might go do something else. Or what did you think of the Test Stephanie on air presentation?
Well, it helped make Stephanie a bigger star because she got more screen time, and she's a great performer. She's a much better performer than was Test. We discovered Test had limited charisma. He had a great look, nice guy, but charisma was not his forte. It showed in their scenes where they both had equal parts. She stood out. And I think that's what we discovered, that she was a star and we could utilize her more if we chose to. All that marriage stuff and engagements and all that shit, I didn't think that people believed it. And I wasn't a big fan of it, to be honest with you.